Okay, so we should be recording now. I'm just going to mute all, so there's no background noise for anyone. And I don't think anyone else is joining. So we'll go through as much as I possibly can, and then we'll open it out at the end for questions. So there we go. So departure is 13th of February, and we're going by coach. A lot more simple. Last time I did a residential was Edinburgh. We did coach and train. So if we could be at school for around 7:15 a.m. At the bus stop, really important we get there on time because we want to leave at 7:30. We need to leave at 7:30 because we're on a very tight schedule. A lot of the trip is on a tight schedule. Hold on, we just admit. So yeah, we're trying to pack in as much as we possibly can, and that's the same for the morning as well. So yeah, we need them there 7:15. We can load the luggage, we can check them off, make sure they're all there, and then we can go. Okay. The accommodation, and if you wanted to, if you just Google YHA St Paul's, you'll be able to look at the website. I'll just put a few pictures up there. It's one we've used before. I think this is the 4th time we've been. I think the first time we used it was 2014. It's a really good position, about 100 meters from St Paul's Cathedral. Very close to the tube station. There's a Sainsbury's just around the corner, so that's always good for stopping off for some sweets and things like that. But yeah, it's a good choice of foods, a good breakfasts, and the accommodation's really good. And it's very safe and secure too. Okay. So meals, breakfast and dinner will be at the hostel. It will be kind of a continental style breakfast, so they get quite a lot of choice. They can have a full English breakfast as well if they want to, but or they can just go and pick breads and things like that. And then there's a two-course evening meal which they've already chosen. That's chosen in advance. We've had them together. Mr. Bowers did a great job for me then in organising meals because it can be a bit chaotic, but there's normally 2 or 3 choices for each meal, and then a packed lunch is provided. And again, they've already chosen their sandwiches. They're likely to forget, but we've got lists. It's not a problem. We know what they've chosen and who's chosen what. Money, we always get asked this one. If you ask the pupils, they want to take about £500, but we suggest not. For me, as a parent, 50 should be plenty. There's an opportunity for a shopping trip, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, 50 to 100. I know some of you use like the Go Henry cards and things like that. So yeah, you can manage that with your child. That's up to you. So, but they are responsible for their own money. We don't collect it in and divvy it back out at the end of the day. We do suggest if they are taking cash, 5 envelopes for them to budget. That just helps them as well. Or just talk them through it, what they're going to spend money on. Yeah, so things like drinks, if they want a cola or something, they will need to buy them throughout the day. Yeah, but we'll give them some advice at the beginning of the mornings. It has happened a few times on residentials where a parent's got in touch with me, can you lend me child 20 quid? And I've done it, and I almost forgot about it. It was about 2 months later and I got it back. Not because the parent had run off, we completely forgot and the parent phoned me. But yeah, in an emergency, we can organise things, but we do, you know, part of the trip and part of a residential experience is to manage some money. Not always easy, but yeah, sometimes they get it a little bit wrong. They do. Clothing's really simple, really. We're not doing any, well, hopefully not anything too muddy, but sensible footwear, the walking shoes or trainers. Trainers are normally popular. What I'd avoid is things like pumps. So yeah, they need a good sole on them that's really, really comfortable, that they can walk for miles and miles. And we will be using the tube, but there are some days where we're walking quite a lot, and there'll be museums where they're walking quite a lot. And just to put it in perspective, the last time I went to London, even though we use a tube, throughout the 5 days we covered 50 kilometers. So they walked 30 miles. And I'm a marathon runner and my feet were sore. So there's a lot of walking. They're on their feet an awful lot. Plan for all weathers, and yeah, because I'm used to doing these residentials. Layers are far better than just trying to have one thick jumper on. A couple of t-shirts and a jumper is far better than just jumper, and a waterproof jacket just in case we get caught out in the rain. Let's hope not. Doesn't rain too much in London in my experience, but you never know. So I've just put up our itinerary, so I thought I'd just take you through everything we're aiming to achieve throughout the week. So as I've set up here, hopefully you can see my little cursor. I can't find it myself. There we go. Depart for London at 7:30. Hopefully we arrive at 11 a.m. I think it's a bit ambitious, but you never know. You never know. And then straight we'll dump our bags and things like that. We won't be able to go into our rooms at that time, but they have got a luggage room, so we can put all the luggage safely. Then grab their rucksacks, and then we are on the tube straight away, and we're at Madame Tussauds for 1 p.m. A few hours there, and then the Natural History Museum at 4 p.m. It is open till 6, so we've got 2 hours there. It's not as long as we want, but we're trying to fit it in. If you've ever been in the Natural History Museum, it's an enormous place, but absolutely incredible. On the Tuesday, we do the river cruise, and that's a 40-minute river cruise followed by the London Eye. And you'll notice there's quite a gap there. So London Eye normally takes, by the time we come off, it's a good hour. We've got quite some time then before we need to get back to the hostel for tea. So the plan is to walk from the London Eye. We'll go and see the Houses of Parliament, Westminster Abbey. Should be quite poignant actually, because you know they would have seen the Queen's funeral and hopefully recognise the building. Then we'll have a walk up to Buckingham Palace, and then St James's Park, and then up to Leicester Square. Is it Leicester Square? No, it's not Leicester Square. Where Nelson's column is, it'll come to me. So through those arches at the top there. So that's quite a lot of walking there. And then in the evening, and loads of people have been asking us already, we're going to see Wicked at the Apollo Victoria Theatre. So that'll be a late night because it starts till 7:30. It's at least 2.5 hours. So we probably won't get back to like 11:30 then. On Wednesday, it's a Tower of London tour, which we're going to walk to that. We'll hopefully be there for 3 or 4 hours. That's one place I've never been to, but 2 of the group members have been there. So they're aware of all the hazards there. And then we're doing the Jack the Ripper tour at 4 p.m. and then back to the hostel. Won't get back to about 7:30. So that's that evening meal's quite late. Then on the Thursday, it's the Imperial War Museum. And then on the Thursday afternoon, we are shopping. So the One New Change shopping centre, which is quite close to the youth hostel. So that's why we've chosen that one. If I feel there's another one close by that's better than that one, I'll make that choice at the time. But they will get some free rein around there, but we will insist that they're in at least groups of 3s. And then on the evening, they will have some free time. What we tend to do the free time, if they just want to chill and just sit in the lounge area, they can. Or in the past, I've taken them out for a walk across the Millennium Bridge, just a walk across the Thames. We'll give them some choice there. And then on the last day, it's the Science Museum in the morning, which is one of my favourite museums. And then we leave London at 1 p.m. And I think we'll probably get back around 6:30. So it's really packed. They will be absolutely shattered when they get back. That's one promise. I think that I'm hoping that's a good thing for you. So in terms of the pupil groupings, we've got 49 pupils going. We've got 6 members of staff. So what we've done, we put them into 5 groups of 10. And then there's a floating member or the group leader, which is me, Mr. Pace. And the groups are just for the purpose of traveling around. So obviously on the tube, which I'll come to in a second, there's potential hazards there. When they get into the museums or the venues, they can choose other groups. But we've set the groups based on a mix of children that we know will work together well, just for traveling around. It's really, really, really important. And the groupings are not the same as the dorms. they're the staff going. So I'm the group leader, Mr. Pace, or Lee. So I've done London. This is my 4th time of London, but I've done Berlin, York, Edinburgh, lots and lots of residential. So I've got lots of experience. Miss Banner's our year 5 lead. She went to London last year, so she's in charge of the City Mapper app. So apparently it's a very good app. And I was well supported Mr. Bowers, who's done so much of the admin for me, Mr. Lewis, Miss Tidewell, and Mr. Shaw. So there's six really, really good staff. It's a really strong team. Just getting back to the underground. It's our main method where we've got a long way to go. And pupils will be expected to be in that group of 10 with their member of staff. The floating member of staff, which will be me, will be ensuring they get off and on safely. So we have some rules, and we go through this with the pupils as well. So if the door closes and the group leaves without you, you just wait. You don't move at all, you just wait. Really simple. It's never happened. The only person I ever know has been left behind was me, but that's okay. I know where we're going. But if your pupil's left behind, they miss the train, they just wait. Somebody will come back to collect them. Hence, that's why we have a floating member of staff, just for these eventualities. Okay. If you you get on the train and for whatever reason your group leaves the train but you don't, just get off at the next station and wait on the platform edge, and we'll go and collect the pupils as well. Mobile phones are welcome. We advise you to have some sort of insurance, but the pupils are responsible for those mobile phones. If they lose them, they can't go saying Mr. Pace made me lose it or whatever they might say, but they are responsible for that. We just advise against other devices, really, because they're very expensive. The little gaming device is really expensive. We do advise against, bringing those. If they do, we're not going to say you've got to put them away, but they are fully responsible if they get lost. Their behavior, we ask the people, we talk to a lot about this daily. Listening skills are really important. So when we're traveling around, they're not allowed to wear any headphones or anything like that. We ask them to respect the other people around the city, good manners, and all the rules will be followed in the place that we're visiting. Museums have various different rules. Sometimes they want us to stay with the pupils in groups of 10. Sometimes they're happy for the pupils to go off in groups of 5, as long as they know where we are. Keep the dorms tidy. That's the biggest challenge, really. And we'll be checking in with those each evening. And if there are any problems, and pupils get tired, they're away from home, they get homesick. If they do get problems, they need to speak to me or another member of staff. What tends to happen occasionally, and it's very occasionally, they'll phone you at home, distressed, and things like that. What I appeal to you, if they're phoning you at home and they're distressed, say to your child, you need to go and speak to Mr. Pace. I know it's tough, but what happens then is parents then tend to phone the school then tend to phone me. So it's gone through loads and loads of channels before it gets to me, and we can't solve the problem, and then the problem escalates. And occasionally, it can lead to some real difficulties between me as the group leader and some parents who feel we're not doing something when we're just getting everything secondhand. So we'll tell the pupils, if they feel they're having problems, they're not getting on with somebody, their dorm's not working, they want moving, they need to come to one of the adults rather than to you. They can speak to you, of course they can phone you whenever they get their downtime. But actually, the only people that can solve it are us. You're 170 miles away. So really encourage them, and sometimes it's a bit of tough love and it's quite hard, but we'll solve the problems. I'm sure if you're trusting us to take them to London for a week, you can trust us to deal with their, if they're having problems getting on long. It does happen, it's quite an emotional time. They're leaving their parents, their carers, for a whole week or 5 days. The school has a mobile used for trips. So we've done this. This is already, Mr. Bowers already done this for me. Pupils are issued with cards, and it's got that number on it. So if they do get lost and they're in a bit of a panic, and this does happen, this has happened a few times, They confirm the number. One of the adults has the phone with them all the time, which is on loud and vibrate, and we can direct them or go and fetch them. It's really good. The hostel will be on that card as well, so they'll know, just in case we're really struggling, they can approach a member of the emergency services, and they can get in touch with us that way as well. Okay, medical forms have been sent out, loads and loads are coming back, so thank you for them. We'll be checking over them. If they need medication, bring that to us on the morning of the Monday the 13th when we go, and just with clear instructions of what to do. Just put a couple of links on here as well, so the museums we're visiting, if you wanted to go and have a look and see what they're up to. And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Every single aspect of the trip has been risk assessed. It has to go through the local authority risk assessment because it is a residential, and that went all through this week. So we're very, very thorough with that. So if I can put the chat on, and if you've got any questions, but feel free to put your speakers on and ask if you want. If you're happy with everything I've said, no questions, you're free to leave the conversation and go and enjoy your evenings. But I will put this. I will put this on the website. Okay, so I've got 10 minutes left. Do the bathrooms and shower, are they shared? They're single cubicles. So the bathrooms are in the rooms. Some rooms do have showers, but if all the shared areas are cubicles, so they're either inside their rooms or in a locked cubicle just on their own. Hope that answers that question. Are there any other questions? Just another thing on safety as well. Obviously, the front door of the hostel is open throughout the night, and yeah, throughout the night. But however, doors to the hostel sort of corridors are locked and coded. So yes, they'll need a lunch for Monday. I'm absolutely sure on that one. Well, 95% sure. So yeah, if you prepare a lunch for Monday, that's a really good question. That is. It's a good question, because we don't check in till about the official check-in at the hostels about 2 p.m. So yeah, pack them some food. They'll be hungry. What they'll do, they'll eat it by 9 o'clock and then say they're hungry at 11. I can predict that. We do stop at services as well if they need to top up their stomachs. Okay, are there any other questions? But again, you can phone the school, pop it on Twitter, pop it on Facebook. I'm happy. Okay, what I'll do now, I will. Okay, thank you. I'll stop the recording now.